it gets very, very difficult to continue pushing the snowball up the hill when your customers are telling you, hey, we love this, but we want you to change this. It gets really hard to just keep doing that. And we were at the perfect moment where we very quickly recognized what they were telling us, and we're quickly making that change.
We're back.
It's been a minute.
It
has been a minute.
We've been busy.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. So since we were last on here, we've made about 1 million changes to everything. 1,000,001.
I don't even know where to start.
I think probably the biggest one to discuss is the change in the app. So based on customer feedback, what we figured out is that so our initial idea was basically that companies would post company stories, and in theory they love that. When you tell a company, hey, you're going to get to actually post a company story along with your job posting, oh my gosh, that's amazing, I'm going to get to differentiate my business, I love it, this is so great. When it actually comes time for them to do it, things start to change. Because believe it or not, even though that only takes about 15 seconds to figure that out and create it, it's too long for them. So what we're doing is we've created a really great new look and feel to basically the landing page, the dashboard, that's going to be really slick looking job postings. And then you'll apply to those the same way with the videos. But you're not going to be, as a company, required to actually post these day in the life stories. You will have the option to post pictures and stories, and you can upload from your camera roll if you want to, in sort of a Instagram-esque type feed. And we believe that this is going to speed up the conversion of companies to an extreme amount, just because it's going to be so much easier. Same thing for the candidates. You're going to be able to actually log on and see all the jobs in your area before you even really create an account. Yeah. So it's going to be very, very interesting, very effective. And I tell you what, I wish I could just like snap my fingers and have it done now. Don't we know it? It's just crazy how things. Things take time.
Yeah,
they take time.
Well,
patience is not my greatest attribute.
No, and that's totally understandable, especially from the bird's eye view. But I think it's super important that we're doing this now rather than much further down the line. Yeah, I mean we're really lucky to be in a spot where we're growing and we're primed for growth, but we're not at a point where it's going to really detriment, the rest of the company or the huge group of people, or, we're far enough along, but not, we're at the perfect place where we can be able to make this vital change without way too much, even a bigger mess or anything like that.
Agreed.
I think our idea is still valid, and it's still on the right track. The idea of transparency for both the company and the candidate. We're in a time where it's just as important for the candidate to interview the company as it is for a company to interview the candidate. On LinkedIn, there's a trending story about, a lot of people are talking about the great resignation that's pending, right? After COVID and everything that's happened, and people working from home and people learning new skills, and a lot of people are realizing, hey, I don't want to be in the same career for 40 years. I want to actually do something else that I'm better at, or maybe I just have more interest in. Yeah. Now they feel more confident, and now they're at a point where they can do something like that. Yep. And so I think that's puts us in a prime position as well, to be able to service those people. And at the end of the day, it comes down to simplicity for apps, you know. We could have an amazing idea, and I know that you've talked to people that may have had great ideas in theory for businesses or for apps, but I remember something that you said early on when I first came aboard, and I can't remember exactly how you put it, but it was like,
it was great.
It was the perfect way of putting it. But it was like, it came down to don't overcomplicate something. Don't complicate something that's not complicated already. You know, don't create a problem where there's not a solution.
It's so many people create a solution looking for a problem.
There you go.
Yeah.
And businesses create solutions and then go looking for a problem. And they create these incredibly complicated solves.
Right.
Like that VR company. I can't remember if I told you all about that.
Yeah.
Such a perfect example. Just stupid idea.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're publicly announcing our app change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting to finally get it out there and tell people.
Yeah.
It's going to be great because it's going to make things so much faster.
Yeah.
And what this, and Josh, you just touched on this. So I think what this represents is what I've always said, which is never be married to one thing.
Idea.
Never be married to it, because if you are, it's going to change. And we could, like, it, you know, it gets very, very difficult to continue pushing the snowball up the hill when your customers are telling you, hey, we love this, but we want you to change this. Mm-hmm. It gets really hard to just keep doing that.
Right.
And we were at the perfect moment where we very quickly recognized what they were telling us, and we're quickly making that change.
Right.
Well, and we're fortunate enough to be where we're at, where we can make those quick changes and be like really quick and agile with that stuff, and really listen to our customers and, you know, pivot when we need to.
Yeah. Well, imagine if we, you know, if we had hundreds of people and we had millions of users already, it would be very difficult to make a giant change like this that would impact millions of people.
Yeah. Could take years. By then it'll be too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. A 2-year rollout plan.
Yeah. I mean, some of these apps are so complicated that just one, I mean, look at Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, they've been trying to do this whole integration of the Instagram DMs and the Facebook Messenger and the WhatsApp Messenger. They've been trying to integrate all three of those platforms, and it's a freaking nightmare, and it's taking them forever to figure out.
It is a total nightmare.
You know,
it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put my notifications on silent for Facebook. Because, I mean, every single time I get notifications for WhatsApp or Instagram messages or whatever. So, yeah, they need to figure that out.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot happening at HiredUp HQ. When it's silent here, you know things are moving.
Happening in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot's been happening.
And in addition to that change, which will make companies, it will make a lot more sense to companies, easier to adopt for companies, and help us grow much faster. We're also doing a complete redesign. I wouldn't say complete, but it's definitely it's a major redesign of the app. Just overall user interface, really just honing in on that and making things a lot more intuitive in the app. Just cleaning up a lot of little stuff that may go unnoticed to most people, but I see them. So, and I think it's going to make the whole user experience that much better, and it's going to be part of our major growth plan as well. So I'm excited about that.
Completely agree.
The new changes look so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
You take like a Clubhouse and the UI is awful.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you find yourself in this strange period of, okay, well, it works and it's doing what we want it to, but it's not fun to actually use. Like there's apps that are actually enjoyable to push buttons and navigate through.
That's such a great point. Because Clubhouse right now is dying, and I know that we've been
Fast.
Really?
super
Fast.
fast, super
Interesting. I've never
People
really
are
gotten on the
over it.
Clubhouse train.
People are over it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny
It's
looking
going
back on
straight
past
down.
episodes of Hired Up, because we kind of documented this. Oh, did you hear about Clubhouse? Or
Right.
everyone's on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
We should have a
Yeah.
Clubhouse strategy.
I have noticed less people are talking about it, but I
Dunzo.
didn't know. Are people verbally saying Clubhouse
Yes.
is done? Oh,
Or they're just not talking about it.
Right.
You
Like
know?
Grant Cardone said he's all pissed off.
yeah. Why is he mad?
What happened? Because when it started, there were all these people that were listening to him, and then now no one shows up anymore. And it happened like Jesse Itzler's the same way.
Yeah.
You know, he was big on Clubhouse there for a while.
Yeah. And it was kind of a bigger thing too. Is it's an invite only thing. I got to get my
Right.
invite. Now they're like just sending you invites every day. Oh, you have
Yeah.
7 invites. Here's 10
Yeah.
invites. Go buy it.
Well, they need to just drop the invite system altogether.
Yeah.
It was a poor execution because I mean it's easy. It's like the fat guy on the couch yelling at the professional athletes, right?
Yeah.
It's like you suck. You should have done that.
Yeah.
But in reality, I mean, we're in the space, and I think what happened there is that they gained momentum. They got great traction, and what they failed to do is to harness that and listen to what everybody wanted,
Yes.
and then enhance the app with
yes.
excellent features that would make it really, really
Yeah.
useful. Like
Yeah.
I came in talking today about that Anchor thing
Yeah.
that Spotify has.
Yeah.
Clubhouse could take their app to a totally new level.
Right.
The reason that this bothers them is because everybody out there that's using it, they're all content creators. The
Right.
Cardones, the Itzlers, like all of these people are content creators. And so when you give them a cool app, it's cool at first. But then once they realize, wait a minute, I'm spending 10 hours a week on this app. None of it is recorded, and I can
Right.
never use any of it ever again. That sucks.
Well, and a lot of people hate that you can't like share it on other platforms where they may be bigger or
Early on, a lot of people said that.
cross-promote, yeah.
It's one of the first things I noticed.
Yeah.
Was that people who were on Clubhouse, they can't tell anyone that they have an upcoming Clubhouse on their Instagram,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Or like share a Clubhouse, snippet on their Instagram or something like that. They don't make it user-friendly at all. And the biggest point that you said, though, is just it's not fun to use.
No.
There's really nothing for the user to really do in that experience, and that's that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm even thinking like you could have a section that's highest rated moments of the week. And you go to a page and it's like the most upvoted 10-second snippets from
Yeah.
every Clubhouse that week. Like just these giant nuggets of coolness that people have voted on. I don't know.
That's actually a really good idea.
So many different. There's a new app idea. It's called Clips.
There you go.
There you go. Clips and Bean.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Clips is actually a really good name.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know. There's going to be in this business you have to be so fast,
Yeah.
because if you're not, you die. Because if you hold on and latch on, and I know what happened there is I guarantee you they were sitting around saying, hey, oh, this is so great. Look at all these people. Like, we're going to take over the world with this. It's like, well, you're going to get smoked at some point, because if you're not constantly innovating and being obsessed. I heard a story this week about the guy that created TikTok,
Oh.
or I guess Musically. And he's kind of a silent person.
Mm-hmm. But he was the creator.
Mhm. And he was talking about how somebody was talking about him, about how he was kind of a little creepy, because when Musically came out, they kind of exploded in the younger generation.
Right.
And so he was obsessed with figuring out how people used it, why they used it, what they liked and didn't like, to the extent that he would like call these young people's parents and like go to their houses or take them out to fancy dinners and just sit there for hours and ask them like questions about, okay, why did you choose that clip? Why did you do that dance? Why did you just
That's
to
customer obsessed to a whole nother level.
Oh, well, yeah. And people kind of,
Yeah.
they're a little weirded out by that. But it makes sense to me. Like, he was totally obsessed with how is the 14-year-old using the app? Why don't they like that button? I have to go figure out why.
Yeah.
And look at what has happened there. I mean, they've made it so easy to use and fun. And
Well, heck, TikTok's even coming out with their own job postings now, or job board or something.
yeah,
like
that's
that.
going to be kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens there.
Right.
It's not really TikTok. It's a website.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you already, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, because the first thing I think of, and the first thing which I'm sure a lot of people think of, is I don't want to apply to a job through my TikTok. I don't want my employer I'm automatically going and seeing my TikTok.
I have to remind my sister all the time, like, TikTok is
or Snapchat
open, like,
or Instagram
apply
or whatever.
to a job, they will see it.
I know.
So yeah, I couldn't imagine.
It's like there's certain situations where that is appropriate for sure, and
Yep.
it's not like everyone's just going out and posting craziness on it. Is, but it's just you want to separate work and play.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing. Here's my work life. Here's my outside of work life.
Right.
And I think that's a fair thing to do.
Yeah. People are wild on Instagram.
With
social
TikTok,
media,
I mean,
man.
TikTok
Jeez.
was the last innovative social media, if you think about it, because everyone else is copying TikTok and everyone else is copying each other.
Yep.
So that guy became so obsessed for a reason. Like, I can only imagine. Amazon's the same way. Like, all these bigger companies are the same way. With how many times has Bezos talked about customer? It always matters. And that's what these other companies like Clubhouse or, Quibi or whatever, they just failed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They become so obsessed. And this is what I tell a lot of entrepreneurs
Entrepreneurs.
who,
I've never heard that before.
yeah, they're entrepreneurs and they want to start these cool apps or whatever. After I'm done smoking them, I tell them, you're going to be so in love with your app or your company or your business that when customers or people tell you, hey, I don't like that, you have to take that as real feedback. Mm-hmm. People are going to hate it, but you have to actually sample your group. And if they genuinely don't like something that you're doing, you need to be honest with yourself. You can't just sit and
Keep
pontificate and go, this is going to change the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. And people become so obsessed with that. And we see it in businesses that come and go all the time. They fail to, I mean, Snapchat's already going downhill.
I know. I don't even
They
know
haven't-
how
I thought it
it's
was
still
going
around.
downhill a long
They haven't
time
for a
ago,
while.
but
I
they're
don't know how it's
they're
still
actually,
around.
their valuation keeps going up. So I
Really?
don't know. There's just a lot of people still using it.
Yeah.
It was never my particular bag. I didn't quite, it was a
Yeah.
little too,
Lots of advertising on it now.
it's just a little
So
too
much
much.
advertising.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know.
And they're creepy ads.
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah.
skip it.
It's almost like a little Tindery.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you know how I know that we, Hired Up, is on the right track, is that we get the same feedback
Yeah.
from so many different demographics, different people in
Yeah.
different
I was thinking the
income
same
brackets,
thing.
people in different, all sorts of demographics, is that amazing idea. But then they may have like or I don't understand this part or
Yeah.
whatever.
Tweak
But
or
they go
something.
back to, why hasn't someone done this before?
Always.
That's how you know.
I've never heard this. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Why
how
does
you know.
someone-
So paying attention to a potential customer, which is your lifeline of your business,
Yep.
that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
So we're taking the great idea that we already have, we're not changing it,
Yeah.
but we're making it more accessible for everybody on all these different sides. So.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a single person that I told Hired Up to that has disagreed or not liked the idea. Like, I haven't heard anyone say like, oh, like, that would never work or anything like that. It's always, why hasn't this been done before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great
And
feedback.
and look at Instagram, started as one thing, and then they were like, well, I like just this.
Yeah.
This is what I really like. It's a part of the app. Or Pinterest, which started as some sort of fashion blog sort of thing, but they had this ability within the blog to pin things.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, yeah, this is cool, but I like this pin thing.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Oh,
that's
wait
it.
a minute.
Right.
Let's just focus on the pin thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? And so I think that's what we're really doing here. We're focusing on the root of the great thing that everyone connects with and making that perfect.
Yeah. Making it perfect. You're right. And then you listen to people and you make changes over time and you're smart about those changes. And, you know, there's, it's just interesting. Like we're in such a good spot because we've listened well, and we've been confident decision makers, as Shawn would say. But we've never done anything that is like against. There are a lot of companies out there who will listen to customer feedback and just go do stuff completely uncharacteristic of their brand, right?
Don't get that.
So, anyways, we're in a really good spot. I'm excited.
Fleets.
Oh my God.
Fleets.
Yeah, Twitter does not listen to customer feedback because
Yeah.
all they wanted is an edit button.
Right.
And they won't do it.
Yeah.
They refuse.
Yep.
Speaking of Shawn, that's something I don't think we've talked about yet. So we had him come in, and we went through a 3-day training with him, which was so amazing. If you guys haven't checked out, Shawn Humphries has been on 2 of the HiredUp podcasts, just giving a whole wealth of information, especially, the first one that he was on really delved into exactly what our training was really over, the overview of it, and then his second episode kind of dove deeper into that as well.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. So
I feel like the training was brain food. Just like feeding you, like getting you on the right track.
Let me ask you this. So this is like intercompany talk, but we'll do it here. So what would be your ideal thing moving forward? Like if I gave you Shawn as an open-ended resource, like how would you use him? Or do you feel like you've got it? Like, do you feel like you need more, or do you feel like you've got what you need?
I don't know. Maybe like once a month, him like come in. If I'm speaking from like my standpoint of just like refreshing us, making sure we're like on our goals. Just kind of like a little refresher, keeping you accountable.
I think, and this could be something maybe he, it's not necessarily in the particular wheelhouse, but it would be nice to have to share with him maybe one work project and one personal project, and have him not take too much time, but kind of guide us in how to break that down.
That's a good
into like our daily and weekly and monthly goals to get to those projects and set deadlines for those. Just like to give an example and going through that process of, because I think the hardest thing for me isn't necessarily the self-image per se. It's I have this big idea in my head. I'm good at like the larger goals, like really picturing them and seeing them and feeling them and all that stuff, but actually bringing them down and grounding them into, okay, here's what I need to be doing every week. Here's what I need to be doing every month to get to that particular goal end date. Does that make sense?
I'm the same way. I agree with you.
And maybe going through that process once might help us just be able to replicate that over and over again.
Yeah. Have y'all been doing the daily thing, the journal?
Yes, not as consistent.
Yeah, I think everybody's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been consistent with that either.
But I haven't gotten any feedback on him yet. I checked the other day.
Yeah. I really need to make it a habit to do it before, like at the end of my workday, do it, and I not allow myself to leave or whatever.
Yeah.
Like end my workday until I do that. That's the way that I end.
You leave the office.
Just like our first our first
position.
position. You know,
Last
and our
position.
work day is the last
700
position. Yeah. So kind of honing that, and then
Right.
It's not a bad
But
idea.
I definitely see the. It's not that I don't see the value in it. It's tremendously valuable.
Right.
I just need to get that
Sure.
ingrained.
Get in the habit of it.
Well, here's the thing that I think what maybe we missed a little bit of is we need to actually tie that journal with a purpose. Like, why are we actually doing that?
Right.
You know, so it's obviously to grow your self-image and your confidence of who you are and in what you're doing. But what does that actually mean to me?
Right.
Like, okay, if I do this every single day, it's going to result in
X,
this
Y, and
for
Z.
me. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're kind of missing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because again, like it is incredibly effective,
Right.
right? Because I one of the biggest and most sad events that happens to people is when they have great, and we see this, like I know you guys can probably point to 10 people you've seen this. They have great success, and then that's a Borat quote. They have great success, and then they like screw it all up, right? Like they get a big job promotion and then they tank it and get fired, or they get in the best relationship of their life and they blow it all to pieces, or something happens.
Right.
And it's just it's the whole Tony Robbins thing. It's your body has this blueprint, this self-image, as Shawn calls it, and when you leave that self-image, your brain constantly tries to get you back to
Sure.
what it believes is normal. And so the journal there of constantly imprinting your self-image is beneficial because it's telling your subconscious, hey, this is like me. It's like me. I did this playing golf the other day. I was playing like the best I ever have in my life. Just back when I used to actually play, Shawn inspired me to go play again, because back when I used to actually play, I was a total head case, and he showed me all of this stuff, but I wasn't super passionate about it. But the entire time I was on the course, I was just thinking, it's like me to hit this. It's like me to hit this shot. Like I just did it in my head. Like I know how to do it. I have all the skills. Like I've spent thousands of hours honing this swing. And it was like an incredible round of golf. And so it is very important. I don't know where I'm going with that.
No, totally.
But it's just so important, because think about it. We are all trying to become people that we're not.
I know.
Right? And so if we're trying to become people that we're not, we have to convince ourselves that we are those people.
So like playing mind games with yourself.
Yeah.
Like constantly like trying to overturn like the negative Nancy in your head. That's
Yes.
So it
constantly
becomes you know?
Yeah.
And
So it becomes
It's
you.
like a constant tug of war.
You know,
Yeah.
basically your subconscious runs 96% of your day.
Yeah.
If you're doing the same sort of things over and over and over again, how many times are you driving, thinking about a million things, or maybe you glance at your phone, or you're taking a video or whatever?
Yep.
That's like you are not fully paying attention to
Yeah.
driving, but somehow you always get to where you're gonna
Guilty.
go. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just zone out for 5 minutes,
By the
but you're
grace
still on
of
the
God.
road.
Yeah, you're
All of
like,
a sudden you're
"Oh."
home. You're like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
it's your subconscious running all these things. You know,
Right.
running all your body,
Yeah.
everything going on inside your body that you are not aware of and stuff. And so, if you think about it, you really have to tap into that 96% of your day, you know, and start being conscious of all these thoughts that go through your head. Like, is this a thought that serves me? Is this the thought that's going to push me forward or not? If it's not, see you later.
Right.
You know, and kind of getting
Well,
better
that-
at that.
Yeah.
And it's like every single time there's like a negative thought, you know, or, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not good at that, or that's not like me. Like, nope. No, thank you. Not listening to that. So
I do that a lot too. Like if I wake up and something happens in my morning and I'm driving in the car and I'm like, I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to have a great day today. Today's going to be a great day. And I may not feel it, but keep saying it until you start to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, so in this season for me, one thing that I've really learned is that the small and consistent actions are the only thing
Totally.
that make big differences.
Totally.
So, and what's funny is like I see this in people's marriages a lot. Like in the men's group that I'm in, like this, I see this so much. It's, if you take a person and you put in consistent, just every single day effort, even when you don't feel like it, over the course of time, you're going to look and go, oh my gosh, look at this, right? It's like when people do those paintings out of nails, it's like you put one nail in, but then after like 6 months, it's like someone's face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it takes just small, consistent efforts that compound into a giant, or I guess compound's not the right word. They add up to a big thing.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that you can knock that domino pile over in a second. Like you stack all the dominoes up, but then it takes one moment to just go boop and push them all over. Or it takes not doing those little things over the course of time, and you end up 1,000 miles off where you thought you were. So the small, consistent, like in the gym every single day, like the reading every single day, the listening to customers just the small little motions that in the moment seem like they're not really doing anything.
Right.
After a while, you look back and go, oh my gosh, like you just started a new gym routine with a trainer.
Yeah.
Like that's something that on the daily basis is going to be terrible.
I
But
know.
then over the course of
I know.
6 months, you're going to look back and go, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this happened to me recently. I don't know if I told you about this. I think I told you about this, Evan, but I don't think I shared it on the podcast. So there was one day before work, I ended up getting this email from this guy, and I was like, wait a minute, what is it? It turns out it was a response. It was a reply from like 4 years ago. I had written this guy. This guy is like an infamous gym trainer.
I remembered you
Did I
told me
tell you
this.
about this? Yeah. He's an infamous trainer. He's like one of the original guys that came up with the whole like 3 days a week, intermittent fasting, gym, heavy lifting, all that stuff, combining. But he's not on social media or anything, but I remember coming across his stuff somehow, or got his book, and I ended up reaching out to him because I was in a place in my life where I was really not confident. I wasn't going to the gym at all. And I knew I wanted to again, but I had no idea where to start. So I'm thinking, I just need to get a trainer or something because I have no idea what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And so he replies to me and he said, hey, I got your email. You're a spot just, you responded to, you requested a training program from me a while back. You were put on a wait list. Now your time has come.
Oh my gosh.
And then reply back and all this information.
Later.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I click on the thread and then I read what I wrote him. And this was 4 years ago. And I basically said, hey, Martin is his name. I came across your stuff. I really want to go back to the gym. I have no idea what I'm doing in terms of gym or fitness or nutrition. I'm a mess. Please help me. Something along those lines. Yeah. And I just wrote this, and just reading that, I'm like, I don't think every day like, exactly. Oh yeah,
I've come so far.
Yeah.
No, but that moment where it was my words, and I was reading this is why journal is so important too.
Yeah.
Not only for that, but to look back
mm-hmm.
and see, wow, I really have come so far. I know so much about nutrition now. I know so much about fitness now. People come to me for advice for this stuff. I mean, that guy's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Isn't
that was
great?
just from daily, consistent, all these things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You completely turn into a different person.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
You've become somebody that you weren't.
Exactly.
It was like
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
to become someone you weren't.
That's right.
That's such a great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it was a great moment.
And you can look back in time at so many conversations you had and things that you did, and like, I think back to the reality of my life at certain points, and I don't even know how that was possible. I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Like back when I was my diet when I was a freshman.
Right.
You know, like that whole thing. I know I've told you guys that story, but that whole way that I ate.
Yeah.
Like, what was in my head that, like, you don't even recognize yourself.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. What's not cool is when you look back 5 years ago and you
you're
realize you're the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you would have looked back and everything you said in the email was exactly what you're still going through. Yeah.
Or you catch up with old friends and they're, oh man, you've changed. And I'm like, good.
Right.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope you have too.
So Ed Milet has this saying where he says that his something like just to motivate him every day is his picture of or he has this picture that he dies and he meets God on Judgment Day, and God says, okay, now I'm going to introduce you to the Ed that I created you to be. And he brings out that Ed, and he's like exactly the same. Like exactly, this Ed did everything that he was supposed to accomplish, became the man he was intended to be, like everything lined up. He was exactly identical like him. That's his version. That's his idea of what heaven would be like. His idea of hell would be, okay, Ed, let me show you who I intended you to be. And that Ed came out and he was nothing like him, like unrecognizable, didn't do anything that he was supposed to, like didn't achieve any of the stuff that he was meant to. And you think about that, and it's like, that makes you want to put the gas pedal down. Yeah. Because, like I've said it before, if everything you touched and did would succeed and you knew it, what would you do? You would do everything.
Yeah. Just run a marathon, start a business. But people go crazy.
Yeah, but the reality is that you actually can do that.
Yeah.
Like you can. It's all possible.
Back to the subconscious, the constant tug of war.
That's really deep.
Yourself.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
From Ed, I think that's super powerful.
That hit me when I first heard that, because it's like, man, I mean, think about every single person. When people are 90, they regret the things that they didn't do, even if they would have failed at them. They regret the things that they didn't do. And it's like, man, we all have access to so much. Like, I don't think that I was driving in the car this weekend and this really hit me. I was thinking, I have so much more than, like, I've seen some stuff. Like, I've been over in Africa. I've seen some really bad stuff. Like, it's my fault if I can't make something great happen out of every single thing in my life. Like, that's not going to be easy.
Right.
It takes a lot of effort. But if I can't do something, that's my fault. I had a kid in Africa tell me that one time.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, America seems like the greatest place. He goes, if people can't make it in America, like, they're ridiculous. They're just lazy and...
Dang.
But you think about that, like...
That hits you deep.
We have every single opportunity.
Yeah.
We get to do whatever we want every single day. We get to wake up and drive in our cars and, like, oh, man, just so much gratitude for all the things that we get to do. And anyways, I don't know where I'm going.
You know, I really think, going back to the thing that you said, if you knew you could succeed at everything, what would you do? I honestly think that would be, this is just the way I take it, I think that would be kind of depressing.
Oh, yeah, it'd be chaos.
Because if you think about everything that I mean, the greatest joys in life have come through putting your own blood, sweat, and tears into it, you know? Mm-hmm. Having those moments of failure.
Not knowing if
and
you're
then
going to
getting
make
back
it.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were just great at everything all the time, it would get boring super fast, and you'd be like, well, what's the point of this life here if
Yeah.
I'm just,
I
you know?
immediately thought of Evan Almighty, that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I haven't seen that.
I don't think I've seen that one. I
It's
saw
been
Bruce.
a while. Or that Bruce Almighty.
Well, it's
Oh, wait,
one
there's
after
an
the
Evan
other.
Almighty
Yeah,
too.
Evan Almighty's the next
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Evan Almighty better because I like
with-
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Steve Carell.
But, you know, I do think a big point of this life is to go through those struggles and get yourself out,
Okay.
Yep.
you know, to be put in a hole and try to, you know,
Right.
get to the top. And I think you grow and you learn so much that way. And so that's why, like, you know, a lot of people have gratitude journals and, you know, the gratitude lists and stuff like that. I think about all the stuff that I'm grateful for, the stuff that has been my struggles and my
Yep.
weaknesses and the quote unquote mistakes that I've made. I'm like, thank you for these challenges because they've helped me grow so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sharpen you.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time. Like when I was going through my whole year of hell,
Yeah.
I think about all of the stuff that came after that, the people I've been able to help, the parents' kids I've been able to just pull off the floor, the book I was able to, I mean, like all the things that came out of that.
Right.
Like, yeah, I had to suffer for 12 months straight, 24 hours a day, but I wouldn't give it back.
Right.
I don't want to, I'm always careful. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do any more of that. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I mean, I don't know.
That's why I hate whenever people ask, what's your biggest regret? Because I'm a firm believer in not really regretting anything.
Yeah.
Because even like the really hard times, even though it sucked so bad, you're in the position you are now today because of it. So I don't regret it. You know, you learn from it.
My dad's, I don't know if you saw that quote that I put on Instagram a while ago,
Yeah.
but I asked my dad that on the golf course about a month ago. I just said, hey, what do you, if you could tell your young self, like a piece of advice, like what would you tell him? What would you do differently? And it was so not what I was expecting. I was expecting like, oh, I would have started
Oh, I
earlier
remember
or
you
worked
saying
harder.
this.
And he just looked at me and he goes, irrelevant question. He goes, that it's such a bad question, son, because it doesn't make any sense. He goes, why? If I were to give myself advice, it would imply that I would want to change something, and I don't have a single regret in my life. And he said, why would I want to give up the difficulty of figuring things out for myself? Like, that's why I've been able to do great things, is because I got to be in crazy challenges, and then I learned, why would I want to skip that? That makes no sense. He goes,
Yeah.
I don't. He was so put off by that question. He's a very passionate man. He was
Yeah.
like, I don't like it when people ask me that question because it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would
Yeah.
you want to change stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, you know, you may be thinking something different whenever you're going through the trenches, but
Oh, yeah.
when you're on the other side and you've experienced everything that you have, you're much more
Yep.
grateful for it and you don't regret it.
I just
least in
think
my
the
case.
key
You're right.
to success, the key to a successful company, a successful social media presence, a successful life, I think, is being able to transmute your pain and struggles that you went through.
Transmute.
Yeah. Or maybe there's a better word. But, you know, take the things that you struggled in the most and you're able to find solutions for, and then implement them, whether that's in the form of a company that's dedicated to helping others solve that problem that you went through and you found a way out, or it's a social media platform where you're passionate about a certain subject that you have gained knowledge in and wisdom from, and you're able to share that with others.
Yeah.
I think that's the point, is
Yeah.
like we all have different things that we go through, challenges in our life, and then the point is to overcome them and then share that
Yeah.
and help other people with that.
We've even talked about that with influencers too. Like, don't just preach or like point your finger of why you should do something. Like share your story of how you
Exactly.
struggled or went
Sorry.
through a certain situation. And then share like what helped you. Just like share your story.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but not like pointing the finger, say you should do this and here's why. You
Right.
know, or
Right.
whatever.
And
but-
people really, they connect with that. They connect with you talking about your struggles and how you overcame them.
Yeah.
Rather than, because maybe there are points of truth to them, maybe not everything, but they can pick out stuff unless you're pointing the finger,
Exactly. Exactly.
That's super important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're doing at Hired Up.
Yeah.
We took a problem that we've all struggled with,
Experienced.
and we know that other people have struggled with, and we have implemented a solution to help other people with that same problem.
Yeah. Well, when
Simple.
businesses don't work, they start it because it's just out of thin air and they think it's going to be a great success.
Yeah.
And when they do work, I'm TikToking. Hold on.
I like that commercial.
Stand by.
Drafts.
Parents.
Okay. When they do, like, because I've seen people do this too. They're like, what's a business I could start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Fail.
Yeah. Wrong.
Yeah.
You already failed.
But when people, look at every single business that is successful, it's because someone had a problem with it. And also they're able to learn about it. I spent like almost, about 7 months doing recruiting before starting the app. So like I was really learning about how recruiting worked and being in, I know people that have been in businesses for 20, 30, 40 years becoming experts in it before they go and do something. And they identify that gap, and every industry's got one. They identify that gap and they figure out how can I do that? And content's an interesting one because I've been studying, as I always am.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because, as I was just talking with Chris, our lead developer, a minute ago, every platform has basically become the same now. They all have the same features. But the next vlogger is not going to pop on a YouTube.
No.
They're going to pop on a TikTok or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They're not going to pop on a YouTube because that, honestly, the Caseys and the Roman Atwoods, like those original, like probably 5 individuals, they started the wave of vlogging, and that's pretty much tapped out.
Yeah.
There will be a new concept that comes along, right? But like I was listening to this podcast, and this girl has gained 1 million followers on TikTok, basically vlogging. So she publishes 30 videos a day, just walking around, like just talking. Great concept. But
Wow.
she's exploded because
Yeah.
she's doing this in a totally different format. And
That's really interesting.
finding that little to bring it back around, like finding that little gap where you see that opportunity and you see people that are hungry for something that they're not being fed, that's where you kind of win. That's like why Casey won in the vlogging world, because he found this, people want this like 8 to 10 minute long video. They want to go on a journey with him, and it's relationship based. It's not an idea based thing. Like it's not, okay, today we're going to do this. It's just because you get to look at my face making coffee, you're going to watch this video.
That's crazy.
Because you're having a relationship with me. Like
Right.
you feel like you're friends with this guy.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see where does the net, because we've seen people pop on TikTok when that originally came out
Yeah.
and went like the biggest of the big, they're done. That's baked in. Like
Yeah.
no one's going to have 150 million followers on TikTok again, most likely. They're going to have millions, but not that many. So I'm interested to see like where the next wave goes.
Yeah.
Where is it going to actually live? I thought it may have been Clubhouse, but I don't think that's going to happen
Yeah.
anymore.
I still think there's part of Clubhouse that is definitely connects with people. They just didn't do it the right way. They didn't make it enough. I mean, when Clubhouse first came out, I'm thinking, oh, this is perfect for podcasters, but they didn't cater to podcasters.
No.
They didn't you couldn't share it. You on other platforms, you couldn't let unless you screenshotted it or something
Right.
and then manually posted it. They
Yeah.
didn't make that easy. And you couldn't, there wasn't a recording option. You had to say you had to note in the name of the Clubhouse that it was going to be recorded
That's right.
externally,
Yeah.
you know? I mean,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of
also
steps.
making everything more engaging for the average user most users are viewers, right? Most people on Instagram are not posting content, they're watching it. How do you make it engaging for them?
Right.
You know? They didn't do that. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here? Raise my hand?
Listen.
I don't want to raise my hand. I don't want to talk. I want to
Yeah.
observe because
Yeah.
that's what 95% of people on social media do. They go on to observe.
Yep.
Here's what's one thing that's interesting that I heard this over the weekend. Like, we live in this world, especially us, right? We live in this world of content and podcasts and YouTube and like, how can I improve this and how can I make this better and how can I self better and how can I meet with Shawn and do this? And we're like, it's overwhelming the amount of self betterment
Yeah.
and self-analysis that we're caught up in. And at some point you just have to sit back and go, okay, how the hell am I going to be creative in a space that's so influenced by all of these things that I should be doing and all of these articles and all of these videos and like, oh my gosh, did you see what this person did? And did you, oh geez, okay, maybe we should be posting this or do, it's like we're constantly in this world of, oh, let's listen to another Joe Rogan podcast where we can learn about like, or another How I Built This, about how this person built this company. And let me take away some nuggets. And it's like, oh my gosh.
overload.
I mean,
It's
it's like,
overload.
how much info am I going to take in before I actually do something about it?
Right.
You know?
I think
It's overwhelming how much
I think
stuff
it
is
comes
out
a
there.
point where you just have to unlearn everything, and you have to. I started doing this on my social media. You know, I stopped following people that I kind of want to do the same stuff.
Yeah.
I stopped following them. I don't want to see their content anymore.
Right.
So I can stop being influenced by all that and just focus on what do I want to do.
Yeah.
Not what are they doing. What do I want to do? I go back to the podcast with the user experience designer from Amazon, who was like, stop going on these UX boards and seeing all the new designs and all this stuff. Turn all that stuff off and go outside and start doing stuff that you like doing, and then you find your inspiration that way and bring that into what you're doing.
Right.
You know, instead, I think we're way too influenced by all this stuff coming at us that we just need to turn everything off
Right.
and sit with ourselves in silence and see what comes up.
In your
Like,
coffin,
at this point,
in your cold
Yes,
coffin
yeah.
at night.
yeah, that's right.
You don't know a funny story? We'll come back to this, but my grandpa, very funny guy. And I'm from a Mexican family, so
Yeah.
he's like Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
And so he was like, this was probably 10 years ago, he was planning all of his funeral stuff. And he's still alive, but he's just,
Oh my
he
gosh.
wants it all set.
Yeah.
And so he was going to pick out his coffin.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
And so he's walking around.
This is where I'll lay.
Yeah, and he's
To
walking
rest.
around, and he's dating. He has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he has his girlfriend with him, and so they're walking around, and the guy was, you know, like showing him all the different coffins, and he like comes upon this one that he really likes, and he's looking at it. He's like, yeah, it's nice. He looks at the guy. He goes, Can I try it out?
Oh my gosh.
If I'm gonna lay in here for eternity,
I can't even imagine.
I want to
that
make
guy's
sure that it's
face.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Did he?
I don't know if he actually did.
That's
I'm sure,
too
knowing
funny.
him, he probably did. He wants to know he's going to be comfy.
I mean, those things are not cheap.
they're
I
not.
would want to
No.
get a test drive myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
100% mahogany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know how mattresses
mahogany.
have some of these mattresses, they have 100, try it for 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, take it back.
yeah.
I'm like, hey, let me take this home.
Oh
Yeah,
my
let me take
gosh.
this for a spin.
Let me take a couple of sleeps in here.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm dying.
The better question is, do you want to be
funny.
buried or cremated?
I always said buried because I'm afraid of the dark. But
Wait a minute,
now,
that doesn't make any sense. It's dark down there. You mean cremated?
I don't know where I was going that. I've always said I wanted to be buried, but as
Okay.
I've gotten older, I want to get cremated, but into a tree. Yeah.
What?
I know that sounds really out there, but you can cremate someone and like put their ashes into a plant and it will grow into that plant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. My mom, well, I'm also afraid of the dark, but my mom was saying when we bury her that she wants like night light on and it like wants to be in like a little home, like an enclosed home.
Oh!
Because she's also afraid of the dark. But yeah, she wants like
Couple air holes, cup of coffee.
What is this, Psycho?
well in
Wow.
a coffin, but or yeah.
I get claustrophobic just thinking about a coffin.
really, but like a home, like not a home, but like an
Well,
enclosure with
you
a
wanna be
light
in a
where you
rocking
can walk
chair?
in.
Treehouse.
Yeah, I don't
Bunker.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
It makes- I get it. That makes
I
sense.
think we need to go deeper into this afraid of the dark thing.
I don't know.
I think there's something deep there.
Are
I
you
think
still
you need
afraid
to
of the dark?
face- I think you need to face it.
I'm like better about it, but yeah,
Like you just don't want to go in a dark room or what?
yeah. Like even going to the bathroom, I walked in and I assumed that the lights were going to turn on, like motion sensor.
Yeah.
They didn't. I ran back and turned on the lights.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I actually purposely don't do that when I go to the bathroom because as soon as the light turns on, it messes up your melatonin.
You don't
You know-
turn on the light.
No, I feel around. I make,
Oh, at home?
yeah, like if you have to go to the, if you
I
go to the
thought you
bathroom in the
meant
middle of the
here.
night.
She's talking about here. I'm like, you're going to the bathroom in the
did
dark
too.
here at work?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you
I'm
mean in the
talking about
bathroom
here,
here?
yeah.
Oh,
Right here.
I mean, at
I
home
was
too.
like, I'm picturing Josh just going over there in the dark.
Oh man.
Man, I don't want to walk in on that.
It is funny that there's not a motion center because everything else is you know.
Motion centered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I don't. But at home
get
at night,
it.
if you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, like I do not turn on any lights.
Oh man. Like I have to have a light in every room whenever I turn off the next light.
Really?
Like if I'm going around the house turning the lights off, I have to have the next light on.
Do you have like night lights on throughout your house?
I don't have night lights or anything like that, and I don't sleep with one just because it has to be dark for me to sleep.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
like if I turn off like the downstairs lights, the stair hallway lights have to be on. So then I walk up the stairs
You're
and
not-
turn off the light.
Okay. Like you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs and lights.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I get that.
Yeah. Especially the stairs
A lot of people are
too.
scared
I
of the
always
dark.
just get scared that something's behind me, even if it's not.
I woke
Josh
up.
is analyzing me right now.
Yeah,
It's very
Yeah, it makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, especially when you talk about your dreams and stuff. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
It's not uncommon
Yeah.
because, like, as a kid, or dreams or things like spooky things always happen, like when you're going to bed for some reason,
Yeah.
like in the dark.
Yeah.
Like you don't have stuff like that that happens in the middle of like at noon.
Right. Yeah, and I have terrifying dreams sometimes, so that probably makes sense. I've always had.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up the other night in a panic because I heard myself talking, like perfectly recording, and it sounded like my phone was playing a podcast of me. Like I keep my phone in my kitchen.
Right.
Sounded like my phone was playing a podcast of me in the kitchen, and like I heard
Was it your dream?
Yeah, it had to have been.
Yeah.
Heard it perfectly. And I woke up and it took me a minute to figure that out, but I thought it was But then I don't remember what it was now, but I remember thinking about what I was saying. I was
Yeah.
like, that doesn't make any sense. I've never recorded that before. That doesn't make sense.
And then you woke up?
Well, once I'd woken up, I
Okay.
realized I've never said that into a microphone. Like I've never there's nowhere that content lives. So how could
That's
I?
Not in this
crazy.
dimension.
I guess not.
Exactly.
I, on the other hand, it's funny that you said that because I was thinking I want to go on a darkness retreat.
Ugh.
Have you heard about these?
Yeah, you told me about
Did I
that.
tell you about this? Yeah. 5-day darkness retreat where you're like literally eyes closed, eyes open, same.
Where are
and
you?
In a
Like in a
room.
room?
You're in a room.
In a jail cell.
That sounds like your nightmare.
They give you food through the bottom of the door.
Well, it's like
What?
they give you food. They give you food, you know,
I
and
wasn't
stuff.
kidding.
You know, there's a bathroom, everything you need, a bed, and everything you need. But it's kind of like
Sounds like prison.
it's supposed to be quite quite therapeutic, because when you turn off your sense of sight for so long, that period of time, your other senses become a lot more heightened and stronger.
Wow.
And so you adapt basically, and
That sounds fascinating.
yeah.
Imagine just not being able to see, but like a blind person. Not being
Exactly.
able to
Yeah.
see.
It's like
That
they
would-
survive.
You would have a tough time as a blind person.
I just keep thinking like being like in that room or whatever, you can't see. Okay, your senses are heightened and you can hear better. Like
Yeah.
like
Or
hearing.
like when you're scared or something, like your
Yeah.
senses heightened.
Do you get claustrophobic when you can't see? Like when it is dark? Like do you have a sense of
I don't
like,
think
claustrophobic?
so. I rarely get claustrophobic.
Really?
Yeah. But
Hmm.
I get a little.
You should go on a float
panicky.
tank for an hour.
I've thought about that, but I also don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
put a light on in there.
Okay.
What about if you have like a mask, like
Sleep mask?
like a sleep mask? If you had all the lights on in the house but a sleep mask, would that be okay?
Like going to sleep,
Yeah.
wearing a sleep mask.
I'm just, like, would a sleep mask panic you?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But I also can't sleep with a sleep mask on because just the feeling of something on my eyes is.
Well, you're
Oh, you need to get one of those nice ones, you know. where your eyes are.
The ones that look like your fly.
Yeah.
The bug eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have all
That's
the
funny.
all the tools. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Josh's nighttime
I
routine?
can't even
Sarcophagus, as he
Right.
says.
turn
You'll
it
see
down
me
to
one day in a
62.
sleep mask, and then like my face is it's like a facial, and I'm wearing a robe, some slippers,
Oh my gosh.
Have you
my
like-
hair up.
Blackout
Oh,
curtains,
gosh. Blackout
closed.
curtains.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Take
so
take
funny.
some pill that induces partial blindness for the night.
Time
Wanna
to
get the
lose
full
all
effect.
senses. Oh my gosh.
All right, Shayna, I want you to hit me over the head with this frying pan.
I'm sure she'd do that. I'm sure she'd enjoy
Oh
that.
man.
It's a resting technique.
Let me see if I can hear you coming. Oh man.
Man.
That's funny.
But real quick, back to what we were saying a minute ago about, I guess we were talking about the like social media
Yeah.
and how, I mean, I talk about this a lot, like always having the framework and things like that. This is the thing that, like, I've never had something in my life that has consistently caused me problems like this. The content thing.
Yeah.
It's a struggle for me.
It is.
Because I don't want the followers. I don't want the fame. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I want to have a place where I can document a massive amount of content.
Yeah.
And in doing so, find my own audience that
Right.
enjoys it.
Right.
And it's so difficult for me, as I imagine it is for many, to not, because I'm a person that loves to consume content too.
Right.
Right.
So it's hard for me to not take pieces of other people's content. It's hard for me to be totally creative. But it's hard finding, okay, where do I enjoy publishing content the most?
Yeah.
Where do I like to put that? what's my style? Like, what's my different thing about my content?
Right.
And how do I make sure I can do this on a consistent every single day basis? By far been one of the most challenging things I've had to deal with, because like I know it needs to happen. I know I need to do it, but it's like there is no how do you do it. It's just begin and then find it along the way.
The consistency is the hardest part.
It's the consistency. It's hard.
It's the hardest part.
It's hard.
Well, I think this is just my view. It could be completely off, but I think you need something that's quick, immediate. As soon as you get the feeling, be able to record it and post it.
Yep.
And with that, I think it just needs to be not complicated at all. And I think we kind of get, and we do this with a lot of things. All of us, like we tend to overcomplicate everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it could be, maybe not, but it could be as simple as just, as soon as you get the feeling, record a video on your phone and literally post that video on Instagram, which I think you're on the most anyways.
Yeah, I agree with you. But that's the thing, is like, it's the consistency, because I'll have moments where I'm like, this would make an excellent podcast. Like, this is too long to put on, but like I want people to see my face, because like I like it when I get to look at people's faces, even though they're just sitting talking to each other. And then, well, 'cause here's the other thing I get caught up with is, well, I like the quick and immediate, the Anchor or the TikTok or the Instagram. Like, I can do it now.
Right.
But I also really love the creative, cinematic.
Longer
I
form.
love creating like something that has a story to it with a beginning, a middle, and an end, with cool intros and music. I like that.
But if you look back on your favorite people, like they didn't start off with with the giant cinematic thing, like you know, even Nick Bear or whatever just started with him shooting stuff on his phone, you know. And so I think there's definitely a time and place for that cinematic thing, especially when we could have a person or people dedicated to
doing
providing
that
for you,
right,
and following you around and stuff.
But
maybe just to get your stuff out there and have it not affect your, you know, your priorities and your daily routine. To just
I think that's the thing. Is that,
and then when you hone in on what people like, then you can start spending more time making that stuff better.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
And just start putting a bunch of stuff out and seeing how people react to it.
Yeah. When I heard that, that's really good feedback. And when I heard that girl that does the TikTok thing, that struck a chord with me.
I know.
So, okay, I'll tell this quick story and then I'll quit talking. 2 instances this weekend that I discovered that like really hit home for me. So that girl that does the TikTok vlogging, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I've been trying to do. It's like, how can I have a way that when something hits me, I can just record it and post it, like you just said. Then, do you know who Emma Chamberlain is?
Sounds familiar.
I never knew who she was, but she's huge. She's 19, okay? She's got 10 million followers on basically every platform, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. She's huge. 19 years old. Lives in LA. Her content is so good, it's ridiculous. Like, it's sharpened to a T.
What does she talk about?
She is the Seinfeld of modern vlogging. It is a show about nothing. It's fascinating. Let me tell you something. Okay, this girl, okay, she does not use filters on her pictures. She doesn't Facetune, edit, nothing. She gets a picture from her camera roll. She posts it on Instagram. When she posts TikToks, they're short, simple, easy. She has a podcast that I listened to 4 of this weekend, okay? Listen, they are literally her and only her sitting in front of a microphone just talking about stuff. I was like,
her TikTok is, or her podcast?
Her podcast.
Huh.
And her vlogs are the same way. Her vlogs, she literally just sets the camera up. She's in the kitchen. She's like making matcha. And then later she's like, okay, now I'm going to answer some questions.
Does
You
she have
know
any
what I was
text over it
thinking?
or anything like that, or does she just post it?
Nothing.
Wow.
She has this short little intro, and then it's a video. When it's the podcast, it's a short little intro. She's right into talking. She talks for like an hour just about everything. TikTok's the same way. Her Instagram is just, oh, I like this, post it.
Yeah.
It hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I've been trying to do. And I figured out that we all do things every single day. We wake up, we eat a certain breakfast, we have our certain routines, we do things that are unique to us at work.
Right.
We go to we do all these unique things. There is a group of people out there that find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Like, this girl doesn't do anything incredible, but 80 million people find it fascinating.
Yeah.
Anyways, go look. It's very intriguing stuff.
It's exactly what I'm telling you. We've overcomplicated everything. Every time something's a challenge or a struggle, it's like we need to take a step back and I'm overthinking this.
Yeah.
This should be very easy. Everything we do is actually
post it.
Everything in life, I think, is simple. Maybe not easy, but it's simple. And we just, as humans, human condition or whatever, we just overcomplicate, overthink everything, and that's what creates all this tension and all this struggle and whatever. But that just proves the point.
It's so good.
It proves the point.
It's so good. I don't come across people that often where I'm like, this is, like, Casey was the last one I came across 7 years ago. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. And this girl, I have nothing in common with this girl.
Yeah.
She's 19.
Yeah.
Like, 19, lives in LA, like, totally different life.
Right.
Everything's different. But for whatever reason, the way in which her content is laid out
authentic.
is
Well,
fascinating.
that's what I was just
Real
about to say. Remember
and
whenever we said that people follow you for your personality and what makes you you? I don't think you necessarily have to figure out like what makes you unique or what
Yeah.
makes you you. Just post it, and over time, enough people will see that over and over and over again,
Yep.
and they will latch on to your unique qualities or
Yeah.
what you talk about or like
You
certain
are
things.
unique.
Right.
Like, you're
Certain
the-
things that you may not even consciously know, but
Yes.
since people are tuning in every single day with you, like they're catching on to, oh, I follow her because she talks about this, this, and this, or, or her
I
personality,
don't think
she says things a certain way, or,
Yep.
whatever quirky things that each of us have.
Yep.
People recognize that.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think we should even be thinking about people following. I think it's just down to this is my life, and I'm going to document my life and what I'm doing.
Think of it as a hard drive.
That's it. And I'm posting it here. I have no attachment to the outcome
Yeah.
of whatever happens.
I've started
it's
doing
for
that
me.
more. Just
for
detaching
me.
from the outcome. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, not for anyone else.
Don't
Right.
be results based,
Right.
or don't be outcome based.
Right.
Right.
I'm just talking about it or posting
So
about
true.
it just because
Block
I
out
want
everything
to,
else. Tim Ferriss, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He literally has a posting system.
He doesn't ever look.
He doesn't
at
ever
anything.
look at it. He doesn't look at what everyone else is doing. He literally
Yeah.
is like, I'm going to post this, and she uses, I don't know, Sprout Social or something like that to post it, but he doesn't actually go on the platform to see it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a one-way, boom.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Van Neistat.
Yeah. Weird.
I've never weird. Yeah. See, I
So
like it.
weird.
I find.
No,
it
I mean, I
weird.
like it. It's just, you can tell, yeah.
You can tell he doesn't watch stuff.
He doesn't watch anything. He's very much in his own world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and those are the people who, are doing great because they're in their own world. They're posting what they want. They're talking about what they want. They're not focusing on anything other than that. And then people recognize that. They recognize their unique things that they talk about and their quirks and all sorts of things. And, people like that. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but it's just their authenticity.
It's their authenticity. People
Yeah.
like it. It's so
Just
easy though
be
to get.
you.
It's so easy to get caught up in the
It is so
what's
easy.
everyone else do, because I'll do it. I'll be like, okay, I gotta find something unique for
Right.
this video or this idea, and then I'll hear something and I'm like, oh, that's great. I need something just like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, no. that's not what you're supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
you're taking that from somebody else. The reason you like that is because it's unique.
Yeah.
Like how many times have we all heard the Casey style vlog music? Boring. We get it. It's on every single vlog that's ever existed
Yeah.
now.
Chill mix.
Yeah.
Chill
Chill
mix.
mix.
Yeah.
Chill piano.
I think I think we all need to make it a point, even if it's not one of our goals
Yeah.
or so high on our list. I think we all need to make it a 3 of us
Mm-hmm.
need to make a point of doing this for ourselves.
And for the business.
However we see, yeah.
Yeah.
But just like as an experiment for all of us
Yeah.
to start actually implementing all the stuff that we know to be true and that we talk about.
Yep.
Actually go out and, hey, I don't care about followers. I don't care about anything. I may think I have a, not incredibly interesting life, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to post something about my life.
Yeah.
And
what would
see
be
where
fast?
it goes.
We're going to create a challenge here. You know what would be a funny idea?
What?
So I have 2 ideas here. That's genius. So I think the challenge should be, I don't know the number. I'm thinking like somewhere between 1 and 15. 1 and 15 times a day you have to post something.
You post one or
At
15
least
things?
once.
Okay. That's easy.
Or, once is, but like for me, like I want to post 15 times a day.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I'm trying
Right.
to-
Yeah.
You know what would be really interesting
What?
is what if for a week, let's call it 2 weeks, 10 days, or on the weekends, it's 14 days, each of us actually carried a camera around and actually documented what we were like. You don't have to walk around town like, hey,
Right.
but like just actually like had it in your car, or like had it when you got it, like actually documented what you were doing in your life.
Yeah.
And then made videos out of that. I bet at the end of those 2 weeks, it would be hilariously awesome.
Yeah.
Like to have
I want my aesthetic to be poor lighting, grungy look, no makeup, nothing.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Just
Yeah.
Josh from the ether.
The real you.
You'll find your
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
They're out there. Just waiting for you to create content.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is a good challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the challenge is yet, but
I mean,
like
literally
it.
making a routine of, and I'm saying this because I post much less on social media than the both of you, way less. So especially for me, it would be a good challenge because, I'm still figuring out, which I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be thinking. I should just
Yeah.
be posting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to just start posting and seeing where it goes, and knowing all these things that we've talked about on this episode and on the past episodes of what we know to be true. This is what works for people. This is what we've seen work.
yeah. How much can we analyze?
How much
know
can
it.
we actually practice what we're preaching
Right.
here, and how much success, whether it's something that we're actively seeking or not, can we have by implementing those things just as a case study
I think
for other people?
the easiest way, like we can start, even if everyone in the company, if those guys are there, if they want to start doing it, the easiest way to implement it is just start with posting on your stories just once a day. Just start with once a day.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're someone who doesn't like naturally post or anything like that, just once a day post what you're doing, and then try to like up it to 3 or 4 times or whatever it may be. But I think stories is a really great way to start.
It is, because it's easy.
Yeah. Just in the moment, just snap it. Don't think about it. Just post it and go. Don't even have to look
yeah.
at it again.
Yeah.
Well, like your stories are kick-ass when you post. Like the last time you did your juice fast, when you
And
did
remember,
that,
you said so many people
they
reached
were
out to
so
you.
good. Like it was,
Yeah.
I remember every morning, like literally being excited for what's Josh's update on his patio going to be
Yeah.
today.
Exactly.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Because it was like this cool. I felt like I was experiencing this juice thing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
And-
good. That's a good analysis. I should be documenting stuff I just do every
Right.
day. Because I mean, yeah, I don't do juice fasts all the time. Although I've done one since the last podcast, I think, that we
Yeah.
recorded.
You know
But,
what this is like too? This
yeah.
is like working out. Like working out
Totally.
is in the beginning, it's very frustrating because it requires you reach that critical mass. Like it requires an enormous amount of energy and effort just to consistently do it every day. And then it's like you see no results for a long time. And then all of a sudden, just kind of out of nowhere, you're like, holy cow. Like,
Yeah.
look at this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then that motivates you to the next stage.
Yep.
And then to the next, like you've seen the results, so you're motivated to continue pushing because you like what you see.
Yeah.
And I think this is the same thing. It's like
and I think the more
great.
that we all do it, the more that we will find our own voice and find
Yeah.
what we actually enjoy talking about, and thus find our audience from that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, or we are like, I don't know what my thing is.
Right.
I don't know what my voice is, but I think the key is to actually just start doing whatever.
Yeah.
And then just by the act of doing it, you're going to find your voice. You're going to find your niche. You're going to find whatever just
Agreed.
through doing it rather than
Agreed.
thinking about it. So,
Yeah.
Right. I like the challenge, so.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know something funny? So when I bought that Sony camera,
It's a nice camera.
It's a great camera.
Yeah.
But my original intention was to get the small point and shoot one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want something that I can just stick in my pocket that's easily right. And I'm in the store and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta have that because,
Right.
like, look at the picture quality on this thing, and I can put a microphone on here. Like, it gets all fancy schmancy
Yeah.
really quick, you know. And like, I'm not gonna walk around with that freaking thing like
Yeah.
into places to have a conversation. But it just
And
it
next
proves
to
like
you at the
how
Starbucks line.
You
Hello.
you just get so caught up in
Yeah.
the
Camera
Starbucks
right
line.
here.
I will have.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Does that take photos too?
Yeah, it's an amazing camera.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Hmm.
But I think this is a good challenge because
Yeah.
there's no reason that at least one of us should not have a massive social media following.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If I can, yeah, I need to do it.
Yeah.
Too many people have told me stuff like that before too, or just my rants or
Yeah.
whatever. you know.
Even just like in the car, like driving, like if you have a thought, just
Yeah.
like share it.
Yeah.
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 You could start, I have an idea. So you could start a podcast or a video series that happens like at night or in the morning after you've taken a shower, and you call it Shower Thoughts, and it's just a debrief of all the thoughts you had when you were in the shower.
That works.
That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that.
Because people like dream up great stuff when they're in the shower,
Yeah.
and it never really goes anywhere. So what if you just like every single day after a shower, you set up your camera and this was like your shtick, like Shower Thoughts, and then you just, you know what I was thinking about? Blah 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 blah. Like,
I
that's great.
like that a lot.
Wet hair. That's
Yeah.
just funny.
Right.
That'd be great.
You know, I think
Brianna, that
is,
needs to
though?
be your thing.
Yeah.
Like that would be. I mean, that's something that people would like. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. There is, I think there is a meme account or something. I don't know if it's on Reddit but it's called Shower Thoughts, and it's
Really?
Oh,
just
really?
like these people's weird,
Yeah.
the weirdest thing people could think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, anyways, this has been a full hour and a half, guys.
Oh man.
Whoa!
has it?
Hey now,
That's
it's
funny.
time for meal number 4.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we haven't created some content on the podcast for a little bit, so it was good to get it all out and have a catch up and
Yeah.
let everyone know all the great things going on with the company, and you guys will soon see it in the coming couple weeks, just how much of a big change that we're doing.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm excited. Doing a lot of great things. You guys are doing a killer job.
Thanks.
You guys are moving at a breakneck
Yeah.
pace. This is not normal.
Yeah.
Like most companies aren't able to move this fast, and you guys do it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's good that we're all connected with the mission and
Yeah.
everything, and have a great team around us.
Yeah.
Agreed. Oh wow.
Yeah, it got late quick.
Yeah.
it did.
Got late quick.
Oh.
All right.
Okay,
On the squeaky
the squeaky wheel.
the squeaky wheel note, time to head out. Call it a day, folks.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next
All
week.
right.